Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get into it today. We're seeing sweeping changes go across crypto land. Did we just see a key attribute of cryptocurrency just snubbed out forever? Let's roll that beautiful intro and find out.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen, and everything that we're talking about here today. Bitcoin is up and it's feeling frisky this morning. It's been over 23,000 and now pushing over 23,146. It is really looking good. Very happy for Bitcoin holders. Wish I had about 1,000 or so myself, but nevertheless, it is nice to see the market green, and it is nice to know that I believe there is a transformation that's obviously taking place here. Some of it's going to be comfortable. Some of it's going to feel like a toothache. But I think at the end of the day, we're headed in the right direction. And we're going to get into that in just a few minutes here, because I do believe some of the growth of this crypto space is going to change some of the attributes of owning cryptocurrency forever. Let's take a look at it. So let's start right here, because we know that the 23,146 that we're looking at today comes broadly from institutional money. Ruffler, I believe it is. It says Ruffler here, but I think it's Ruffler. Is it Ruffer or Ruffler? But either one. Ruffer, I guess it's Ruffer. Michael Val 5 links. Ruffer Investment used Coinbase to execute a $745 million Bitcoin buy. Not exactly a retail buy, right? That's where the money's coming from. Now, there's huge signals with that, just like Grayscale's asset under management for crypto shows a substantial rise to $15.5 billion in 3 days. How do you like that? that is getting it done right there. Shout out to Barry Silbert and the crew. Again, institutional money moving a portion of this of their holdings into this new digital asset space, and it's exciting. It is pushing the price. Look, this isn't going backwards. In fact, this is going forwards, and it's just beginning, and it's really going to deepen and deepen and deepen as we go forward with the money coming into this space, because everyone's looking for a safe haven. They know that the dollar is taking a beating right now. They know that the derivatives in the traditional markets are overbought, and there is going to be a pay the piper moment. And all the printing that's going on here with the U.S. dollar, people know it's coming, and especially at the institutional level, and I think that's what you're seeing now. Now, I want to remind everybody, because this has been a big narrative here on the show, because this is how it's coming down. This is why when I see U.S. have a lack of clarity that other people speak of, yes, the U.S. is still not giving clarity on XRP, and to a great extent the rest of the cryptocurrency market outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the point I want to make here is that at the international level, all the major economies or countries with the major economies are working together on crypto regulation. So although you haven't heard the U.S. come out specifically with those final pieces of clarity that we need, they are on the international committees defining what cryptocurrency regulations should be for the world. So they're not overlooking that it needs to be defined for themselves here domestically at home in the United States. So with that being said, we look at this. I think this is a great place to see a hotspot tested for Bahamas' launch of their digital sand dollar. And the reason I feel that way is because we all know that Bahamas, right, are a huge international hotspot for tourism and travel. So, this is a great place to test this out. And they said they've been making inroads for even in retail use cases. So it's really, really taking hold there, and they're really getting this thing moving. Now, we don't even have to talk about the fact that China has made massive push for their digital yuan, and they continue to do so to this day. Look, think about what we just said here. We're talking about the Bahamian Central Bank, right? And China, digital yuan. This isn't going backwards, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we are so early. We're watching the first couple central banks really test pilot and begin to release and do retail integration use cases with their citizens. And it's remarkable. And travelers, if they come into play. So now let's take a look at XRP right now, because our feet are planted firmly on the ground at 58 cents this morning. We're up slightly, but nothing worth really talking about this morning, because we know that there are a lot of calls out here. And shout out to Steve Gulbranson, who actually shares with us XRP bull flag on the daily chart could send it to $1.20. Analysts from Ethereum World News. Now, I'm not going to go down into this, but the truth is that there's a lot of calls for $1 or $2. Not too long from now, they're talking about $10 to $15 XRP. Listen, I'm here for 4 or 5 digits, but I love seeing this price action. I love seeing these calls from these technical analysts that really spend a lot of time really rooting themselves in the charts, where I root myself in the fundamental news about company growth, acquisitions. But I think when we get in inflection points like this, it's nice to bring the fundamentals and the technicals together to try to understand where we're really going, because I really believe, outside of the idea of what we see on the charts, I believe there's a lot of fundamental news. And because of the regulation that's making its way now to the U.S., because we're getting ready to talk about some regulation that has just come down from the Treasury and how it may affect one of the key attributes of the entire crypto asset space. Yes. And we're going to talk about that for a second. And I think Clinton Donnelly has made a tweet that really, really lays it down where it is here. And we're going to see that in just a second. But the reality is I think where we're going is going to really, really go blow things out of the water. I do believe that we have the opportunity to see a 4 or 5 digit XRP sooner than we all would think. I wouldn't dare to guess when it could be, but I do believe that the world is very, very aware of what Ripple and XRP can do. And a lot of that is because last year we saw Ripple partner with MoneyGram. And I had a chance at the 2019 swell to talk with David Schwartz for about 2.5, 3 days there. And basically talked about how it was recent news then that had just happened, basically, and how good it was because they finally found somebody with MoneyGram that had the volume, the patience to work with them and allow the regulators. And as I said over the last day or so, other businesses and areas of industry, whether it be banking, payment providers, whatever the case is, to see a real live example of the benefit of using XRP for settlement. Listen to what David Schwartz says here, and shout out to UK XRP1, who is amazing, who found this, heard me ask if anybody remembered this clip because it was done live on Twitter by Dustin Planholt and myself, and it was just amazing. And shout out to Dustin Planholt. We're getting so excited about the documentary. Hopefully we'll have some very good news for you very, very soon. Anyway, let's play this clip here and you will love it, and we're going to get into it. Here we go.
Such an incredible win-win. Yeah. And the biggest thing for us is that it means that we have effectively an unlimited source of volume for on-demand liquidity transactions, and we have a motivated customer. So, and to be honest, it took us a while to get it right. It's been kind of a bumpy road, and it's nice to have somebody who can provide you as much volume as you can handle, so you can test easily, and without having someone who's got some patience and understanding. And the road's gotten a lot less bumpy recently. Real-time applications. And now it's just a matter of ramping up volume.
And David, now it's just a matter of ramping up volume. Well, what's interesting is that just a couple days ago, MoneyGram was on with Julia Chatterley on CNN, and this is what he had to say. They had a 140% increase in new online customers, 220% increase in app transactions, 11 straight months of triple-digit cross-border growth. That's what's happening. He went on to talk about the XRP resilience and accelerated remittances and pushing boundaries with Ripple. In fact, what he said, and I'm going to quote here so we can keep moving, they pushed for innovation to help pioneering of the global utilization of blockchain, specifically focusing on settlement and treasury management and FX management services, sending cross-border payments in real time. Why is this important? Because again, we go to the top down. Because we're pointing to this real live example that took place with MoneyGram, and about how David Schwartz told us a year ago there's really nothing left to do but ramp the thing up. Well, ramping it up could mean also with the use of MoneyGram itself, but ramping it up could mean if you understand MoneyGram was an example to basically the rest of the world to see that real-time example of it absolutely working and creating massive benefit, then you're talking about the ramping up of it from the world, not just MoneyGram, right? And we got yesterday a letter from the Bank of International Settlements, and it basically here calls for an action to reduce the risk and the cost of cross-border payments. You don't say. Maybe they were watching that same live example of MoneyGram and the benefits of it, because in the letter, they really go through here and talk about minimizing the risk of settlement when it comes to FX, and you can also help to lower costs for cross-border payments that involve exchanging two or more currencies. So this is really exciting because no, they do not say XRP, no, they do not say XRP Ledger or Ripple, and they're not going to. But this letter came out from them yesterday. And how else do you really minimize the cost of cross-border unless you adopt using the XRP asset and the XRP ledger to do it? What other option is it? Don't say Swift GPI, because that's instant payment. That's not instant settlement. And if you do use it to get instant settlement, it's because you use R3 in the Corda settler, which uses and offers XRP as a digital asset for settlement. They do plan on expanding that to other cryptocurrencies for settlement, but at this point, it's XRP. Then we go to the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum releases a cryptocurrency report. The Swiss-based organization mentioned the key metrics of leading digital currencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Tezos, and Litecoin. We go down into this and we look at the document, and it basically breaks down the structure and basically the what the coin is best designed to do, right? Looking at Ripple and XRP here, you go down to the bottom and it talks here about how the ODL is live in 4 corridors today with U.S. Mexico largest BITSO. Mexican Exchange recently announced that it's processing nearly 10% of remittance payments with ODL, 35 billion yearly flows from U.S. to Mexico. Well, this is interesting because you're seeing the application of how to do this. They show you also in the implementation strategy that the production contracts on demand liquidity, some customers include MoneyGram, Azimo, Santander, American Express, CIMB, Siam Commercial Bank, SBI, and HDFC, just to name a few, right? RippleNet is now available in 55 countries on 6 continents with the payout capabilities in 70 countries. Recently, Ripple has also launched a line of credit, as we know, as a new service of RippleNet that allows ODL customers to source capital from Ripple. It really clearly states it here, they're specifically to address using XRP to solve a $10 trillion problem, trap capital, and it's required for cross-border payments. When you look at this and you say to yourself, like I said, from the top down, we saw the G7, right? I showed you the G7 and the whole bit right here, the top down, and then we see the BIS give us the letter, and then we see the World Economic Forum acknowledging cryptocurrencies and what their particular use cases are, right? We go into that document, and then I show you that we have the CFTC now. Remember the top down, the international level first, then we start to see it creep down to the domestic level, and they start showing us stuff like the digital assets primer from the CFTC, which when you read through it, looks a lot like a regulatory sandbox from the CFTC's point of view and purview. So that, coupled with that, along with all of the things that we're getting in the issuance and letters from Brian Brooks and the OCC, which then deals with the purview of the federally chartered banking system, and we're starting to see it all take shape as it rolls out. Doesn't look like the U.S. is so far behind after all. In fact, to me, it looks like the U.S. has really been a key part of the international regulation and framework that's been developed, and they've been holding back the world's largest economy until the very last point of contention, because once they let that go, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. Then we look here and we see recently we had, yes, that's right, the U.S. Treasury proposes a new rule regulating cryptocurrencies broadly, and doing that through having to reveal your information. Let's go and listen to what Clinton Donnelly said. And shout out to Michael Val 5 Links and everybody that sends information. The U.S. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, has released a proposed rule that would instill record-keeping and reporting requirements for transactions by or to a bank or money service business involving unhosted or otherwise covered wallet. Now, that's from the block, but I want you to listen to this. If enacted, here's what we need to know. If enacted, the proposed rule requirements for certain transactions involving convertible virtual currency or digital assets would subject self-hosted wallets to heightened anti-money laundering standards, meaning anonymous transactions could become a thing of the past. One of the major attributes of cryptocurrency could become a thing of the past. Oh, that's right. For all you Bitcoin maxis out here, you check? No, it's checkmate. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. You are right, Bitcoin maxis. You cannot stop the technology, but you can regulate it. And that's what you're seeing happen right here before your eyes. You want a legitimate market? You want to continue to see the $745 million buys of Bitcoin? You want to see the gains? You want to see this market become a respected space? Then it needs to be a legitimate market. And the only way to do that is through regulation, policy, and lawmaking eventually at some point. Because that's what we need. And listen, the libertarian in me is screaming at me saying, stop saying that. But the truth is, at 49 years old, I also understand you're not going to see something get bigger than the governments of the world. It isn't going to happen. That's the one thing that all governments will continue to agree on. They won't have any problem coming together with that. They may fight with each other from time to time, but they will always be in agreement with each other on stopping that. That's not going to happen. So what we are seeing is a real inflection point here. I do believe that, because they're not changing this. This is a part of it. And there you are going to have to give up your information from your self-hosted wallet to tell people who you are. That's just where things are on this day. We will keep an eye on it. But listen, I think ultimately it's actually good for the growth. Does it cause a problem with DeFi? Yes, it does. I do understand that. If you have a decentralized platform that's a lending platform, there's no entity there to collect your information, right? But you can best bet it's looking a lot like you better design that DeFi platform for everybody to be able to KYC and AML themselves before joining your DeFi network, or you're going to be considered Silk Road Dark Web. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and share with somebody you know, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And make sure you check out the links in the description box and the comment section. There's some really great specials and offerings of products and services that I use every day, and I know that you probably need for yourself, and they are trusted, vetted links. I will catch all of you on the next one.